Today, we are going over how to pick all the best gear on Lost Ark because we don't want to end up like this guy. We want to be the best, and to be the best, you have to look good. This good. Just like these beautiful comments made me feel good. Thank you so much for the love, Zerker Gang. You're all absolute legends. And soon everyone is going to know when the Zerker Gang is in their party because we all carry well looking the best and we all stay ahead by working together in Discord. We just hit over 1,500 people. So I'm bringing the same energy to you right now that we have in Discord all the time so that you never make a gear mistake on Lost Ark ever again. And this is going to be my recommendation for every class setup so that you can pick your 1370 plus gear without thinking about it. All the builds I'm going to be pulling are going to be shown on screen, but they're also going to be linked in the description beside the class, and everything's going to be timestamped so you can get right to your class if you need to. So if you gain any value from this, I'd appreciate the sub. My name is Claysthetics, and we're running right into it. And don't forget to like the video. It's the only way YouTube knows I exist. And lighting this off, we're going to run down how to pick a gear set and 2 of the best engravings to maintain. That way you don't lose any power level as you scale forward. And starting off with how we're going to gear when you hit 1370. And some of you guys know this already, but if you plan on hitting 1370, don't do the 1340 Areha because you cannot do normal and hard mode Areha in the same week. And honestly, this isn't a race, it's a marathon. Just take your time. Beating this guy gets you literally nothing but sadness, especially when your gear degrades to +8 when the next thing comes out. But that won't be for a long time. We're going to want to do both Areha hard mode raids and craft our chosen weapons. You're going to use that for the rest of the tier, and you should be able to craft 2 armor pieces from the chosen set as well. After that, you're going to do P1 Argos, and you're going to craft 2 more pieces of gear, and you should be stuck with 1 slot left. But when you come in the second week, you do Areha right away, and you should be able to craft your other pieces out, and then you can upgrade straight into being able to do P2 Argos that second week that you're there. And if you're really lucky, you could just go straight to P3. But the main reason I recommend crafting a chosen weapon is simply because Argos blood is a fairly limited material, and you only need a 5-piece set anyways for his stuff. So just to reiterate that, your first week's kind of bricked. Your second week, you should be able to get right into P2 and P3 Argos, depending on, well, how lucky you are. This is going to be our first big set of gear that doesn't get replaced for a while. And I really do recommend before you enhance your weapon is spam recraft it, get 90 plus quality because it really scales your damage a lot higher if you do. Just don't dismantle it after you've enhanced it. Don't do that. Now this next part's just going to talk about what each class should pick and in my opinion what they should take. But if you're a solo gamer, just craft the full Areha chosen set and just dodge Argos altogether. If you're solo gaming, you don't really have to worry about it, and the chosen set flat damage is actually really good. And I really don't blame you for not wanting to play with anybody else because, well, I mean, come on. But now I'm going to run down, in my opinion, what I think each class would go best with, and 2 of their top engravings. That way you don't feel super stressed out to get 3. Again, all the characters I'm pulling information from are going to be linked in the description. So starting off with Berserker, and you already know if you watched the Zerker T3 update video because the Zerker gang was on top of it. But we're going to want to rock that crit damage set because we already have enough crit chance just with our normal build so that we can be eclipsing the party. My top 2 engraving recommendations to focus on are Mayhem and Keen Blunt Weapon with Grudge closely behind it. And if you need a full text guide for Berserker, I got it linked in the description right beside it. But now for Gun Lancer, same kind of thing as Zerker. You already have a ton of crit, so the crit damage doesn't hurt you, and it lets you pop that Eclipse. And really, it's just about carrying the monkeys. That's why you're here anyways. You can do it. And your big 2 engravings are going to be Lone Knight and Supercharged, so you can come in hot and ready. But now for our Holy Knight, and because of the way your stat loadout is, you're going to want to hit that crit chance setup, so that way you can max carry the monkeys and get to live your DPS Paladin dreams. And your big 2 engravings are going to be Blessed Aura and Expert, and you can sneak in a heavy armor in there if you just want to stand in everything like a Giga Chad. But now for our mages, and starting with Sork, you can go either way as Reflux or Igniter for crit damage and crit chance. My personal recommendation for Reflux is just to go with crit damage because you don't have a lot of it in your kit. And for Igniter, you're definitely going to want to go with the crit chance just to guarantee those crits when you're ignited. And my personal top 2 engravings for Sork are going to be class engraving for both specs, plus all out attack just for that cast speed plus the damage. It's going to go a long way in just helping you reposition and get your abilities off faster. But Grudge comes in a very close third for me, right beside all out attack. But now for my Bard gamers. And again, you already know you're supporting, so you can roll both ways, but I know most Bards want to pump damage, so you can go crit chance. But if you're in a static full of monkeys and they all went crit chance, you have to go crit damage. It is what it is. You're actually the carry of the group. And your big 2 engravings are going to be Desperate Salvation Expert. You're going to carry the whole party with these insane buffs. And thank you for not giving up on all of us that just run straight into everything. But now it's fighting time, and for our striker mains, our big punchy boys, we're going to want to go crit chance. With our big engravings to max out, we're going to be Death Blow and Keen Blunt Weapon. And for War Dancer, we're going to run it back on the crit chance set, and we're going to use the Strengthening class engraving plus Grudge or Keen Blunt Weapon. And for Scrapper, Punchy Girl can roll both ways, but personally, gonna rock crit chance again. Two big engravings are gonna be Shock Training and Grudge. And now for everybody's favorite Dragon Ball Z reject, Vegeta. I mean Soul Fist Master. And for this, it's not really gonna matter because you already decided to pick Suffering, but I would go for crit chance here, and your big engraving is gonna be Robust Spirit and Grudge. But now for the Assassins, starting with Demonic, it's an easy pick for the crit damage set, simply because you have so much crit chance with the Demonic Impulse engraving. And your second one is going to be Keen Blunt Weapon with Grudge coming in close behind it. Now for Blade, you can go both ways, but I would lock in the crit chance set personally because you don't run Keen Blunt Weapon at all with Surge. So my big two engravings to focus on are just like this, guys, Supercharge and Grudge, because you really only need level 1 Surge to make this build work. But now finally, are Gunners. And Gunslinger and Deadeye can be done at the same time. You're going to want to take the crit damage set because you're going to be critting all the time anyways. And your two big engravings are going to be Peacemaker and Keen Blunt Weapon. And again, Grudge comes in right behind Keen Blunt Weapon after a certain stage. There's this chart that this dude linked on Reddit. Kind of shows you what it's all about, and it's actually really solid. But as for Blaster, it's an easy lock-in for crit damage on the set simply because of Firepower Enhancement, our first big engraving, and our second one's going to be Keen Blunt Weapon. Finally, our last and one of our coolest classes in the game, Sharpshooter. If you're PvEing on this, man, I'm sorry. It's just, yeah. But you can go crit damage on him because you get so much crit chances just defaulted into your kit, and you're going to run double class engravings with Prior on Keen Blunt Weapon and Grudge right behind these. And this class is actually super fun, but it gets put in such a negative light because a lot of people are honestly just bad at it. So that's the best generalized loadout for each class, in my opinion. The reality is either set doesn't really have a big increase over the other because you end up eclipsed anyway. So you get 25% crit chance and 50% crit damage. But I know a lot of people were having a ton of trouble deciding what they should run. So this should take you down the right path, just like the patrons took the right path and are absolute legends. Thank you for keeping this train running. With that being said, I did try to split it all evenly so that way you wouldn't struggle solo with the build that you picked, and you would genuinely just get the most out of it for when you couldn't be eclipsed. While keeping two of the best maxed out engravings for your class, it's going to allow you to stay super strong and basically be MVP of your party. And I know you should be going for a third and a fourth engraving, but a lot of people are very poor on the game. They don't have access to those things. And over two max engravings, I know a lot of casual players are struggling to get. So that's what they should focus on to stay the absolute strongest and actually be relevant in their parties. And you want to stay in that mindset to succeed all the time. The main thing you don't want to do is fall into the accessory trap because they're not super necessary right now. But you should push for a third engraving because when the next tier comes out, you're going to replace these accessories instantly with things you're actually going to hold on to for a very long time. So make the money while you can and max out by selling your accessories to the whales in the MasterCard arena, because if you play with a friendly static, you'll never have any issues. But this game does push you to play with random homies. So for Guardian raids, whatever else, and most people are going to greet the crit chance set. And that's why I recommended the crit damage one on as many classes as I could. So DPS wise, if you're here, you're probably already carrying most of your parties. The reality is NA is probably just going to get nerf content over and over again. Hopefully they don't ever nerf the hell modes that we're going to get. But with our NA koala brains, we probably aren't going to be able to get through a lot of it. But this should at least help break up the crit chance monkey meta a little bit, but probably not.